I am excited to do my first book review today. The book is called The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey. After I do the review, I'm also going to talk about how I choose my next book. This morning I woke up and I had to decide on the next book to read. And I know what I'm going to read next. Last night I finished The Snow Child. I gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. And the reason I did this is because it's a really well-written novel. The settings are just immersive. It's got a really interesting mystery that makes you want to keep reading until the end. It was an entertaining read. I enjoyed it. The Snow Child is about a couple in their 50s who are childless and because of that are drifting apart. They decide to move to Alaska. It's the 1920s. Villages are small. There's a call for people to come and populate and start farming the land. So this couple goes out there. They have to build their own home, start everything from scratch, basically. What happens while they're there is that in their first year, the first snowfall, they find it in themselves to be playful and happy, and they decide to build a snow child. They build the snow child, they put a scarf on her, they put mittens, and they go to bed happy. So they wake up in the morning, and the snow child has been roughed over. Something happened to it. During that same day, they see a little child, a little girl, running around in the woods. You wonder, is that little girl made from the snow child? And the whole book, it's just a mystery. Why can't anybody else see this little girl? Is she made up? Is she real? Is she their child now? What's happening? And it's clear she's making them happy. Things are changing. It's based on a Russian fairy tale, which is a well-known storyline, just like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is here. But the author could relate to this idea of a couple in the wilderness, in a snowy, isolated forest. The setting was described so well. I personally, I'm a winter person. I love the snow. I love cabins. I love the idea of being isolated in a cabin and having to fend for yourself. You think about what the smell is of the falling snow, the pine trees, the wood stove, everything about it takes you to Alaska in the 1920s. Even without the snow child mystery, it's just a fascinating look into that homesteading aspect. For example, their first winter, they are worried about starving to death. The husband knows that the only option to save them is to hunt and kill a moose that will feed them through the winter. You have that same worry right along with him. Imagine if you had to depend on killing a moose to live. I loved this book. If you like magical realism, if you like the idea of fairy tale in real life or fairy tale retellings, check this one out. I also wanted to talk about how I choose the book I'm going to read next. I'm always curious about hearing how other readers do this. So last night, I didn't expect to finish The Snow Child. I had like 60 pages when it was to go as I was going to bed, but I just couldn't stop. I woke up this morning and had to figure out what I was going to read next. Because I've been watching a lot of BookTube videos, I have a big TBR list right now. Let me show you a sneak peek of that. I don't know if you recognize any of these covers. I read Poison Study before The Snow Child. It was really good. Court of Thorns and Roses. I really want to read that one. I have a lot of books on my TBR. So what I normally do is I look through the covers, and this is applicable to print books also. I think about what I would feel if I were reading that book. If it's a feeling that jibes with my current mood, I will open it and read the first couple pages. And I'll do this with every book I'm interested in. And usually I won't get through all of the books I'm interested in because one of them will just grab me right from the get-go. after those 2 pages, I'm hooked. This is the ideal situation, and it's worked for me the last few times I have had to pick another book to read. I did that this morning. I settled on My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This book was highly recommended on Ann Patchett's bookstore's blog, Pegasus Books. There's a few pages in, and it is really good so far. Thanks for listening to my first book review. Happy reading!